All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Akah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men who taught me this truth. I would like to say shalom to you, Akim and Fuakwath, your men, women, and little ones that believe on the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. It's your brother Micah Allah, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, the Lord willing to edify. And the title of this lesson is simply The Foolishness of Preaching. You see, and it's just laying back off of what we briefly touched on yesterday at camp, concerning, the prophets and the duties that that we've been given by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, in order to please him. And one of the things that the Lord has revealed unto us is it pleases him to push forth his word, you see, to give warning to you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. You see, it pleases the Lord, when we are out there on the highways and byways proclaiming, the doctrine of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, as well as, these different videos that we upload constantly and consistently. These things please the Lord, you see. And let's just get straight into it. This John 21 and verse 15, and it's going into Yahweh Shai and what he told Peter. It says, so when they had done, Yahweh Shai saith to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He said unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, Feed my lambs. He said to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. He said unto him the third time, and this is for understanding. So Yahweh Shai, those of us, that come in the same stead, as Peter, which is the head of the church, under Yahweh Shai, of course, but Yahweh Shai wants us, to understand this, that if we truly love him, it's a way that we show it, because we not like these Christians, like these different pastors out here that want to just, tell you something, and basically don't show no action behind it. You see, I was listening to this dude, Charleston White, last night on this interview he did, and he was going into pastors and why he felt like basically pastors ain't shit because they ultimately they talk a good talk about, how they all for our people, how they want to see us do good, but it's no actions behind it. It's basically just vain words with no actions, you'll see these little niggas do these weak ass fundraisers and shit, but ultimately, where's the money really going? These guys like TD Jakes, building these damn near $1 million churches, but you see Jake is still going through hell, and further being oppressed. And niggas like TD Jakes ain't doing nothing but really, just really taking advantage, as well as these other, self-proclaimed pastors, But that was just one of the points that he made. Like, they basically talk a good talk, but it's really you don't see these pastors doing the things that they say, man. It's all a facade. It's a game. But those of us that in this truth, Yahweh Shai, those of us that are teachers, the Lord wants us to understand, if we really love him, to show it. And how do you show it? By feeding the sheep, by teaching, you see? And as we're going to show in this lesson, us teaching, even though you people outside this council may look at us like we crazy, or we just some men that just want to cuss out so-called white man, cuss our people out, like, because we ain't got nothing else better to do with our life. It's okay for you to think like that. But you having that mindset is going to get you destroyed, you see, because you're not taking into consideration is that this is us showing forth love for Yahweh Shema Washai, because we following a commandment that Yahweh Shai told us to do. The Lord told us, to bid the believers to the marriage, roughly paraphrasing, and to ultimately to prepare for that marriage. You see, get ready for Yahweh Shai's return. And one way that we do that is by teaching each other. And continuing on, it says, he said unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he had asked him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Yahweh Shai said unto him, feed my sheep. And that's what Yahweh Shai is all only concerned with, his sheep. Lord's not concerned with 2/3. You see? See, when we are teaching, we're not teaching, we are teaching to all nations, in a sense, because we have to proclaim, the Lord's counsel to everybody, but mainly who the Lord is seeking for and who the message is really geared towards, those that will really gravitate, to the calling, is the elect. Those are the only spirits that the Lord is concerned with, That's why Yahweh Shai said feed his sheep. He didn't say teach everybody, This Romans 10 and verse 14 says, how then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? You see? And this is where the prophets come in at, to teach you and guide you. Remember, Lord said he'll give you pastors according to his mind, which will what? Feed you with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and that's pleasing in the sights of the Lord, man. You see? It says, and how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. You see? And let's get that. I want to read it in the NLT. This Romans 10. Hold on. I'm gonna go back to the 14th verse. I'm gonna read in the NLT. This is Romans 10 and 14. In the NLT it says, but how can they call on him to save them unless they believe in him? And you got to have faith. And how can they believe in him if they have never heard about him? And how can they hear about him unless someone tells them? And how will anyone go and tell them without being sent. This is why the scriptures say, how beautiful are the feet of the messengers who bring good news. You see, and that's what the prophets are ultimately set up to do, to bring the good news, the good gospel to the elect, you know? It says, but not everyone welcomes the good news. For Isaiah the prophet said, Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, who has believed our message? You see, so who have believed our report, man? You know? And this is their separation. Going back, it says, but in the KJV, but they have not all obeyed the gospel. So 2/3 are not going to take heed to the gospel, to the good news, you know? And that's the way the Lord set it up. It says, for Isaiah's, meaning Isaiah, saith, Lord, who have believed our report. So who have believed the message that's being, taught by the prophets? Who believes the report? The elect. It says, so then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of the Most High. You see? So let's read in NLT. It says, so faith comes from hearing. And this is how you get faith, by hearing. You see? It says, so faith comes from hearing, that is hearing the good news about Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, you know? But Jake don't want to hear about Yahweh Shah. Looking at this dude, Gorilla, as an example, a prime example. He didn't want to hear about Yahweh Shah. He didn't want to reverence Yahweh Shah, you know? He didn't want to believe the doctrine of Yahweh Shah. He didn't want to believe it. That's why he would take certain things out and add certain things, you know? Just ultimately doing his own thing and just being disobedient and rebellious. But you having those characteristics, and those ways about you, especially you talking about some Yahweh Shah isn't to be reverenced. Look at the estate that this dude is in now. Your dirty laundry is put on Front Street, Everything, all that money that he's accumulated, the Lord cut that shit, And now he's being plagued, with, more demons. You see? And the Lord took the spirit off of him. You see? It says, but I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, meaning truly. Their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. You see? Because this gospel has been preached throughout the four corners of the earth, and that's what's bringing forth the end. So everybody has heard the report. Everybody has heard the message. Because it said their sound. Remember, it's a certain song that's being sung in these last days. You see? And that's what's activating the elect. And this is why we're seeing, the times being shortened. Everything is speeding up. Because Yahweh Shah is showing that he's making his return, man. And these would be the signs of his coming. You see? But let's go here. It's 1 Corinthians 1. Matter of fact, let me get it in the NLT. It's 1 Corinthians 1:20. It says in the NLT, so where does this leave the philosophers, scholars, and the world's brilliant debaters? The Most High has made the wisdom of this world look foolish. You see? So you guys out there, like Charleston White, for an example, he likes to cleave to the wisdom of this world. Yeah, he may know certain things here and there on how to, maneuver around Esau's system to a certain extent. He knows how to, supplant, we Jake to get his way. But that worldly wisdom that this dude has accumulated, that's not going to save him. And really, the things that he knows is really foolish in the sights of Yahweh Shema Shai, because he doesn't know the Lord. Hell, you let Charleston White tell it out his own mouth, and I heard it, and brothers also heard it as well. This dude said, fuck the Most High, man. This dude said it straight up out his own mouth, fuck the Most High, and the Lord is going to destroy that dude, man. You see? It says, since the Most High in his wisdom saw to it that the world would never know him through human wisdom, he has used our foolish preaching to save those who believe, you see? And Charleston White, those are considered like the leaders of the 2/3. And by them being on these different platforms and openly on camera proclaiming how they truly feel about the Lord, that really is the mindset of 2/3 in a nutshell. You could lump all of them in that category. Even though they may not proclaim it out their mouth, the fact that they look up or they listen to a nigga like Charleston White is their spokesman on their behalf. You see? Because the gospel is being preached now. Everybody knows who the Israelites are now, but 2/3 don't care. You see? So basically they're saying the same thing that Charleston White said. When you walk past the camp, you see the brothers out on the highways and byways, and you just keep going. That's basically what you saying to the Lord, man. Nah, I'm good. I don't want to. Matter of fact, Charleston White went as far as saying, roughly paraphrasing, he ain't worried about, tending to the Lord right now. He'll do that on his deathbed, And the Lord got a grievous judgment coming for that dude, man. But let's read it at 1 Corinthians again. And the KJV says, for after that, in the wisdom of the Most High, the world by wisdom knew not the Most High. It pleased the Most High by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. You see? So even though this may be foolish in the sights of you people without understanding outside this council, this is pleasing in the sights of Yahweh Shema Shai, the God of the Bible. That's why it would really be in your best interest for you to what? Hearken to the prophets. Because we, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, are the carriers of the words of the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son, man. You see? We the spirits who the Lord entrusted with this information. And I'm going to end it off with this. It's Amos 3, In verse 7 it says, surely the Lord, Yahweh Shema, which our power would do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. You see? So these secrets, knowing what's pleasing unto the Lord, that's a secret. And that also shows us, those that are teaching and those that believe on the teachings, that shows that we're doing the right thing. You see? Because the Lord loves to see this. And for one of some did not believe. It doesn't matter if you people don't believe, man. As it is written, you're just going to die in your unfaithfulness. But Lord willing, that was edifying. I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men who taught me this truth. Peace and blessings be to the hopeful elect, you men, women, and little ones that believe on the words of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Shalom.